Every one of us has felt fear, the pounding heart, the trembling hands, the voice inside that says, "Don't do it, stay safe." But let me ask you this. How many dreams have died because of that voice? How many opportunities have slipped away not because we were incapable, but because we lacked the courage to try? Today, we are not here to talk about fear. We are here to awaken the power that conquers it, the power of courage. Courage is often misunderstood as a life free of fear. But in truth, courage is only born where fear exists. To be courageous does not mean you walk without trembling, nor does it mean you are blind to danger, risk, or uncertainty. Rather, it means you have measured the weight of fear, felt its grip upon your heart, and chosen to move forward anyway. Fear is natural, it is part of being human. Yet fear, left unchallenged, becomes a chain that holds a person captive, robbing them of their potential and silencing the song of their destiny. Courage is the force that breaks those chains. It does not eliminate fear, it conquers it through action. When an individual stands before a challenge, fear whispers of failure, embarrassment, and loss. It paints vivid images of what could go wrong. It paralyzes many, convincing them that staying where they are is safer than daring to take the next step. But courage rises and speaks louder. It says that safety is an illusion when it comes at the cost of growth. It says that failure is not fatal but a stepping stone toward greater strength. Courage does not deny the existence of fear. It simply refuses to let fear be the master. Fear may knock at the door, but courage is the one who decides whether to open it. Great victories in life are seldom achieved by those who wait for fear to disappear. If you wait until you feel no fear, you will wait your entire life. Fear never truly leaves. It simply changes its form. The courageous understand this truth and decide to act in spite of it. That decision to act, even with trembling hands or an uncertain heart, is what separates those who live fully from those who merely exist. Every act of courage weakens fear's grip, proving to the mind and spirit that forward movement is always possible. Courage is the inner voice that insists life has more to offer than limitations and doubts. It allows a person to walk into the unknown with faith that the path will reveal itself. It allows someone to attempt what others call impossible, to stand for what is right when silence would be easier, and to believe in possibility when the world around them is clouded with negativity. In this way, courage is not reckless. It does not ignore risk. It acknowledges it and still chooses to proceed. It is guided by vision, fueled by purpose, and anchored by determination. The truth is, fear shrinks the soul, while courage expands it. Fear makes the world small, while courage opens doors that seemed forever locked. Fear sees obstacles. Courage sees opportunities hidden inside those obstacles. Every human being carries both forces within them, but the one they choose to act upon shapes their life story. When courage is chosen over fear, a person finds themselves stronger than they ever imagined, capable of heights they never thought they could reach. ChatGPT said dreams are the seeds of greatness. Yet without courage, they remain dormant, locked away in the corners of the mind. Every individual carries visions, ambitions, and desires for a better life, but the difference between those who achieve them and those who do not lies in the ability to act upon them. Courage is the bridge between imagination and reality. It is the force that takes an idea, fragile and uncertain, and gives it life through action. Without courage, a dream is nothing more than a pleasant thought, a story that could have been told but never was. With courage, a dream becomes a plan, and that plan becomes a reality. When a person dares to envision a better future, fear immediately tries to intervene. It whispers that the dream is too big, the risks too high, and the obstacles too many. It convinces the dreamer to keep their vision private, hidden, and untested. Many succumb to this voice, tucking their dreams away like treasures buried deep in the ground, never to be unearthed. But those who choose courage understand that dreams cannot grow in silence. They must be spoken, acted upon, and pursued, even when the path forward is uncertain. It is courage that breathes life into an idea, transforming it from a shadow into something tangible. Every great accomplishment began as a dream in someone's mind. The inventions that changed the world, the businesses that reshaped economies, the movements that shifted societies, all of them were once nothing more than invisible thoughts. If their creators had waited until the fear subsided, if they had waited until they were absolutely certain of success, those ideas would have perished. Instead, they acted with courage. They dared to bring their inner vision into the outer world, knowing full well that failure was possible. It was courage, not perfect conditions, that turned their dreams into achievements. Courage also empowers persistence. Dreams do not manifest instantly. They demand effort, sacrifice, and resilience. There are moments when setbacks strike, when progress slows, and when the dream appears unreachable. In these moments, it is courage that prevents surrender. It reminds the dreamer that failure is only a lesson, not the end of the road. Each courageous step forward, no matter how small, feeds the dream and keeps it alive. Without that courage, discouragement wins, and the dream fades into memory. The transformation of dreams into reality requires risk. There is no guarantee of success, no certainty of outcome, but courage accepts this truth and moves forward anyway. It knows that even in failure, there is growth, wisdom, and strength gained. In this way, courage ensures that no effort is ever wasted. Every attempt, every decision, every bold step builds momentum, and that momentum turns dreams into milestones and milestones into legacies. Courage is not limited to grand achievements, monumental discoveries, or historic victories. It is woven into the very fabric of everyday life. It is in the choices made when no one is watching, the moments that seem small to the world yet feel enormous to the individual. The courage to live authentically, to make decisions aligned with personal values, and to face challenges with determination is what shapes a life of meaning. Everyday courage is often overlooked, but it is just as essential as the bold acts that fill history books. One of the most powerful examples of everyday courage is the decision to speak the truth when silence would be easier. It requires bravery to stand by one's principles, especially when those around you may prefer conformity or when the truth may bring criticism. Yet honesty is the foundation of trust and integrity, and it is courage that enables someone to remain honest in the face of opposition. By speaking truth with respect and conviction, an individual demonstrates a strength that inspires others to do the same. Another common but profound form of courage is starting something new when the outcome is uncertain. It may be launching a business, beginning a career, or learning a skill that feels intimidating. The first steps are often filled with self-doubt, financial risk, and the possibility of failure. Yet courage empowers a person to begin anyway. The willingness to step outside of what is familiar is what opens the door to growth and opportunity. Without this form of courage, countless dreams would remain unexplored and countless talents undiscovered. Courage also reveals itself in the act of believing in oneself. The world is filled with voices of doubt, criticism, and comparison, and it takes bravery to maintain faith in personal worth and potential. Many never reach their true capacity because they lack the courage to believe they are capable. Self-belief does not mean arrogance. It means holding firm to the conviction that one's dreams are valid and achievable. Every success story begins with this simple but courageous choice to believe that what is desired can indeed be attained. There is also courage in perseverance through hardship. Life inevitably brings difficulties, financial struggles, personal loss, broken relationships, or health challenges. To face these storms with resilience, refusing to be defeated, is an act of profound bravery. It is easy to surrender when circumstances feel overwhelming, but courage compels one to rise each day and continue forward. This daily courage may never make headlines, but it builds strength of character and often serves as a silent inspiration to others enduring their own battles. The beauty of everyday courage is that it accumulates. Each time a person chooses courage over fear in small decisions, they strengthen their ability to face larger challenges. Just as muscles grow through resistance, character grows through daily acts of bravery. The courage to speak, to begin, to believe, and to endure creates momentum, and that momentum carries individuals closer to their purpose and vision. Everyday courage may not always be celebrated, but it is the unseen foundation of every significant achievement. Throughout the course of history, the defining thread that weaves together every great achievement is courage. No invention was ever born without someone daring to challenge what was thought impossible. No discovery was ever made without someone venturing into the unknown. No progress was ever secured without individuals who had the audacity to act boldly when others hesitated. Courage is the silent force behind every milestone that has shaped humanity, and without it, the pages of history would be empty of advancement. Consider the inventors who changed the course of civilization. They were not free from fear or doubt, yet they pressed forward when failure seemed more likely than success. They endured ridicule, financial loss, and countless setbacks, but their courage to persist against resistance turned ideas into realities. The light bulb did not appear overnight, nor did the breakthroughs in medicine, technology, or industry. Behind each of these triumphs stood men and women who chose courage over comfort, vision over conformity, and progress over the ease of remaining safe. Exploration itself is another testament to the power of courage. The great navigators who sailed into uncharted waters did so knowing they might never return. Yet they carried within them a belief that there was more beyond the horizon, and that belief, fueled by courage, opened new worlds. Every frontier ever crossed, from the deepest oceans to the expanse of space, has been crossed because of the bravery to attempt what had never been attempted before. These moments were not the product of chance, but of courage that defied fear and embraced possibility. Societal change, too, is rooted in the same principle. Every great movement that brought freedom, justice, and equality into the world was led by courageous hearts. Those who stood against oppression, who raised their voices when silence was safer, who acted when inaction would have been easier, they carried the torch of courage. Their names are remembered because they dared to challenge systems that seemed immovable. They faced imprisonment, exile, and even death, yet their courage inspired generations and shifted the course of nations. The truth is that history does not remember those who played it safe, who allowed fear to dictate their choices. It remembers the ones who acted when the outcome was uncertain, who stepped forward when the crowd stepped back. Courage has always been the catalyst for transformation. It is the power that moves civilization from stagnation to progress, from limitation to expansion. This pattern repeats itself in every era, and it continues today. The challenges may look different, the tools may change, but the principle remains the same: advancement requires courage. Those who dare to think differently, act boldly, and persist relentlessly become the architects of tomorrow's history. Without their courage, the world would remain frozen in place, locked within the boundaries of fear and hesitation. Courage is not only the force that built the past, but also the energy that carries humanity forward into the future. The age we live in is defined by speed, innovation, and constant change. And in such a world, hesitation can be costly. Opportunities do not wait for the uncertain or the timid. They move swiftly into the hands of those who are ready to act boldly. The truth of today, and especially of the years ahead, is that boldness is no longer optional, it is essential. The world rewards those who take decisive steps, those who see a chance and seize it, those who dare to stand out instead of blending into the background. Boldness has become the currency of progress, and courage is the foundation of that boldness. Fear convinces many people to wait for the perfect time, the perfect conditions, or the perfect plan. But perfection never comes, and those who wait are left behind while the bold move forward. In business and personal growth, in relationships, and in every arena of life, opportunities are fleeting. They appear and disappear quickly, often without announcement, and only the courageous are able to recognize them and act before they are gone. Boldness means taking that first step without knowing the entire path, trusting that clarity will come through action rather than endless waiting. The modern world, with its rapid technological changes and global connections, amplifies this truth. Entire industries are transformed in a matter of years, and new possibilities are born almost daily. In such an environment, those who hesitate are overtaken by those willing to risk, experiment, and adapt. Courage in this age is not reckless impulse, but it is a readiness to move forward while others are still analyzing, still questioning, still doubting. Boldness allows individuals and organizations to become pioneers instead of followers, leaders instead of spectators. Bold action also creates momentum. When a person dares to step forward, even if the step is imperfect, it sets energy in motion. That momentum attracts new opportunities, new allies, and new ideas that would have remained invisible had the first move not been made. Boldness acts like a magnet, pulling possibility closer. Hesitation, on the other hand, creates stagnation, keeping everything out of reach. The courageous understand that progress does not come from standing still, but from moving decisively, even in uncertainty. There is also a personal reward for boldness. Each time someone acts with courage in the face of fear, their confidence grows. What once felt impossible begins to feel natural. Boldness builds character and resilience, teaching the lesson that risk is not something to be avoided, but something to be managed. Failure may still come, but it is never final. It is simply information gained, wisdom earned, and a stronger foundation for the next bold attempt. In this way, even mistakes become stepping stones, and the habit of boldness turns fear into fuel for growth. As the years progress, those who learn to embrace boldness will continue to advance, creating lives filled with meaning, success, and impact. Those who allow hesitation to control them will find themselves watching from the sidelines, wishing they had acted when the chance was before them. The world belongs to the courageous, and in an age of constant change, boldness is the decisive factor that separates those who merely survive from those who truly thrive. Failure is one of the greatest teachers life offers, yet it is also one of the most feared. Many allow the possibility of failure to prevent them from ever trying, and in doing so, they deny themselves the chance to grow. The courageous understand that failure is not the end of the journey, but a natural part of the process. It is not a signal of defeat, but a lesson wrapped in difficulty, an opportunity to learn, adapt, and strengthen one's resolve. Every person who has achieved something meaningful has encountered failure, often more than once, but they refuse to let it define them. Instead, they used it as a stepping stone, turning setbacks into fuel for persistence. Failure has a way of revealing truths that success often hides. It strips away illusions and forces clarity. When a plan collapses or a dream meets resistance, the lessons gained from that experience are invaluable. Failure teaches humility by reminding us that mastery takes time. It teaches patience by showing that progress is built step by step. It teaches resilience by proving that strength is not found in avoiding hardship, but in rising again after falling. Courage allows a person to embrace these lessons instead of running from them, knowing that each failure carries the seeds of wisdom that no book or lecture can provide. Those who fear failure spend their lives in hesitation, carefully avoiding risks and remaining confined within their comfort zones. They never stretch themselves far enough to uncover their true potential. The courageous, however, see failure differently. They understand that the risk of failure is inseparable from the possibility of achievement. Every great breakthrough in history was preceded by countless failed attempts. Without those failures, the success that followed would never have existed. What separates achievers from dreamers is not luck, but the courage to face failure and keep moving forward despite it. Failure also builds character. Each setback strengthens perseverance and deepens determination. It tests the depth of commitment to a goal. If the desire is shallow, failure will break it. If the desire is strong, failure will forge it into something unshakable. Courage transforms the pain of failure into resilience, and resilience becomes the foundation upon which success is built. People who achieve greatness are not those who avoided failure, but those who embraced it, learned from it, and pressed on with renewed energy. The beauty of failure is that it never truly defeats those who continue to rise. Every attempt, whether successful or not, moves a person forward. Every misstep sharpens skills, clarifies vision, and strengthens willpower. Courage ensures that failure becomes a teacher instead of a prison, a motivator instead of a barrier. With each lesson absorbed, the dream grows closer, the path becomes clearer, and the individual becomes stronger. What others see as defeat, the courageous see as preparation. Failure, in this light, is not the enemy of success, but its most faithful companion. Courage is not a single act that appears once in a lifetime. It is a force that grows stronger every time it is used. Just as muscles develop through repeated resistance, courage multiplies through repeated action. The first step taken in fear may feel overwhelming, but each step that follows becomes easier because the mind and spirit begin to recognize their own strength. Every courageous act creates a ripple effect, building confidence, resilience, and belief in what is possible. Over time, what once seemed impossible becomes natural, and the individual discovers a reservoir of inner power they never knew existed. The multiplication of courage begins with small choices. It may start with speaking up in a difficult conversation, trying something unfamiliar, or standing firm in a moment of doubt. These small acts create victories that reinforce the idea that fear can be faced and overcome. Each victory, no matter how small, plants a memory in the mind that says, "I did this before, and I can do it again." These memories become a foundation for bolder actions in the future. Slowly, courage builds momentum, and momentum becomes unstoppable progress. Courage also multiplies because it inspires others. When one person acts bravely, it creates permission for others to do the same. A single example of courage can spark an entire movement, encouraging people to rise beyond their fears. This is why leaders who act boldly often find themselves surrounded by followers who grow in strength. Their courage spreads like fire, igniting hearts and minds beyond their own. In this way, courage does not remain confined to one person, but multiplies across communities, organizations, and even nations. The process of multiplying courage is also tied to self-trust. Each act of bravery strengthens the bond of trust between an individual and their own spirit. The more someone acts in spite of fear, the more they trust themselves to handle the unknown. This self-trust is invaluable, for it allows a person to step into uncertainty with confidence that no matter the outcome, they will endure, adapt, and grow. Without courage, self-doubt takes root. With courage, self-trust blossoms and becomes a powerful force that drives greater achievements. Failure plays an important role in this multiplication as well. When courage leads to an attempt that does not succeed, the experience still adds strength because it proves that failure can be survived. Each time failure is faced and overcome, fear loses its power. The courageous person realizes that failure is not the end, but simply part of the journey. And this realization makes it easier to act with greater boldness the next time. What once required tremendous effort becomes a natural habit, and the cycle of growth continues. Over time, courage transforms into a way of life. The more it is practiced, the less control fear has. What began as small acts of bravery evolve into the ability to face larger challenges, make greater decisions, and pursue higher visions. The compounding effect of courage creates individuals who are unshakable, who can stand firm in storms, and who can walk confidently into opportunities that others would never dare to approach. Courage is the golden key that unlocks the gates of success, for without it, every other quality remains dormant. Knowledge, skill, and ambition may all exist within a person, but if fear prevents them from being expressed, they remain hidden treasures. Courage is what releases these treasures into the world. It is the force that allows talent to shine, ideas to flourish, and visions to manifest. Success is never granted to those who only wish for it. It comes to those who have the boldness to act, to risk, and to persist. Courage is the unlocking mechanism that transforms potential into accomplishment. Every goal requires movement. Yet movement is impossible when fear holds the mind captive. The fear of rejection, of failure, of criticism, or of loss often stops people before they even begin. They may dream of achieving something greater, but their hesitation keeps the dream locked away. Courage pushes open the lock. It whispers that rejection is not the end, that failure is a lesson, and that criticism cannot stop the determined. With courage, a person discovers that the obstacles they imagined were larger than they truly are. Once action is taken, fear begins to shrink and opportunities begin to expand. Success also demands resilience, and courage fuels that resilience. No journey is without setbacks, delays, and disappointments. In those moments, it is easy to believe that giving up is the best option. But courage prevents surrender. It reminds the individual that setbacks are temporary and that persistence is the true path to achievement. Without courage, discouragement becomes final. With courage, discouragement becomes temporary. The ability to continue moving forward despite difficulties is one of the clearest signs of a courageous spirit, and it is also one of the clearest paths to success. Courage is also essential because success often requires breaking away from the crowd. Many people prefer the safety of conformity, doing what others expect and following paths that are already established. But real success comes from innovation, creativity, and individuality, and stepping into those requires courage. To stand apart, to express a unique vision, and to pursue a dream that others doubt demands bravery. Yet those who find that bravery discover doors that conformity could never open. The most remarkable achievements are always born from those who dared to be different, and difference is always sustained by courage. The relationship between courage and success is further seen in the way courage builds character. Success is not only about what is gained, but about who a person becomes in the process. Each courageous decision adds strength, clarity, and wisdom. Each time fear is faced and overcome, the individual grows into someone more capable of handling greater responsibilities and greater opportunities. This personal growth is the true foundation of lasting success, for it creates a person strong enough to sustain the achievements they gain. Courage, then, is not simply one factor among many. It is the central force that unlocks every other quality required for achievement. It takes what is hidden within and brings it to light. It transforms hesitation into motion, obstacles into stepping stones, and fear into power. Without courage, success remains locked behind the gates of doubt, but with it, those gates open wide and reveal the limitless possibilities that lie ahead. The future has always belonged to those who dare, for it is courage that allows people to step into tomorrow with vision and determination. The uncertain path ahead intimidates many, causing them to cling to the familiar and the safe. But those who summon courage are the ones who shape what is to come. The courageous do not wait for opportunities to be handed to them. They create them. They do not sit in fear of change. They embrace it and use it as a tool for advancement. The future is never shaped by hesitation, but always by boldness, and those who live courageously will inherit the rewards that lie ahead. The future belongs to the courageous because it is filled with challenges that demand action. The world is changing faster than ever before, with new technologies, global shifts, and social transformations redefining how people live and work. In times of such change, those who fear risk are left behind, unable to adapt to the new demands of life. Courage gives individuals the strength to not only face these challenges, but to rise above them. It allows them to see possibilities where others only see obstacles, to innovate where others cling to outdated methods, and to progress while others remain stagnant. The courageous are also the visionaries of the future. They imagine what does not yet exist and believe in it enough to act. Every invention, discovery, and movement began with someone who had the courage to dream beyond the present and work toward a better tomorrow. Without courage, imagination is powerless. With it, imagination becomes the seed of progress. Those who dare to dream and act upon those dreams will always be the ones who shape the future, because they are willing to risk failure in order to bring their vision to life. Courage also ensures leadership in the years ahead. True leaders are not those who merely hold titles or positions. They are the ones who step forward when others retreat. They take responsibility in times of uncertainty and guide others with strength and conviction. The future will always favor those who display this kind of leadership, because every era requires individuals willing to take risks for the greater good. The courageous inspire trust, loyalty, and action in others, and this influence allows them to shape not just their own destinies, but the direction of communities and even nations. What makes courage so powerful in shaping the future is that it builds resilience. The years ahead will inevitably bring difficulties, setbacks, and moments of doubt. Those who rely only on comfort and safety will falter when trials come. But those who live with courage will see every setback as preparation for something greater. They will rise again and again, proving that no challenge is strong enough to stop them. The resilience born of courage makes them unstoppable, and it is this unstoppable spirit that allows them to own the future. The truth is simple yet profound. The future is not written by those who hide from fear, but by those who face it head on. It is the courageous who decide what tomorrow will look like, because they are the ones willing to take action when action is required. They move forward when others hesitate, they persist when others quit, and they believe when others doubt. In this way, the courageous not only inherit the future, they create it. The call to courage is not something distant or reserved for another time. It is a demand of the present moment. Too often people postpone action, telling themselves that they will act when circumstances improve, when the timing feels right, or when the fear has lessened. Yet waiting only strengthens hesitation, and hesitation allows opportunities to pass by unnoticed. The truth is that the perfect time will never come, because perfection does not exist. The only time that can be acted upon is now, and courage is what makes the present moment powerful. Every dream, every goal, and every step towards success begins the instant a person decides to act despite their uncertainty. The urgency of courage is clear because life moves quickly. Opportunities appear and vanish in the blink of an eye. The business not started, the skill not pursued, the words not spoken, and the risks not taken accumulate into regret. Many people look back on their lives and realize that their greatest losses were not the failures they experienced, but the chances they never dared to take. Courage removes that regret by transforming hesitation into decision. It turns intentions into movement and ensures that when opportunities appear, they are seized instead of ignored. There is also a deeper truth: the habit of delay weakens resolve. Every time a person chooses to wait instead of act, they reinforce fear's control. Procrastination feeds doubt and makes the next decision even harder. The courageous understand this and act before hesitation has the chance to take root. By stepping forward immediately, they keep momentum alive and strengthen their ability to make bold choices in the future. The practice of acting now, rather than waiting for conditions to be ideal, is what builds lasting success. Acting with courage in the present also builds confidence. Each time someone faces fear and moves anyway, they prove to themselves that they are capable. This self-assurance cannot be built through thought alone. It is created only through action. Confidence grows with every risk taken, every obstacle overcome, and every step forward despite uncertainty. By choosing to act now rather than someday, individuals create a chain of victories that expand their belief in their own power. The present moment is also powerful because it sets direction. Each act of courage today determines the path for tomorrow. Small decisions to be brave accumulate into habits, and those habits define the course of a life. By choosing courage in this moment, a person aligns their actions with their vision and ensures that their life moves toward purpose instead of drifting aimlessly. The willingness to act now, even without certainty, creates clarity over time and opens doors that waiting could never unlock. The world belongs to those who recognize the urgency of courage. They understand that time is the most valuable resource and that every delay is a lost opportunity. The moment to act is always the present moment, and the decision to embrace courage now is the choice that shapes destiny. Courage is the force that transforms fear into action, dreams into reality, and challenges into victories. The future does not wait for the hesitant. It opens its doors to the bold. So stand firm, step forward, and remember this truth: the world belongs to the courageous.